Hey everybody, Umber Rays here, making a video to talk a little bit more about Chair Reign and what's been going on in Wotv. Kind of a bit of a meta look at video, also just a commentary video about this character who has come to the game. Because I cannot remember for the life of me the last time that a character has come out in Wotv that has come out with such a profound bleh. And yes, you can quote me on that. Chair Reign is basically a bleh. Because you look at review sites have reviewed him particularly pretty well, and generally people don't think that he's a bad character. Whenever you make a video like this and it's not the greatest thing, people are just like, oh, you must be the worst. Not the worst. I still stand by my review, thinking that his kit has a lot of good things in it. So what happened and why, oh why, as of all things, Peachin, one of the greatest content creator supporters that Wotv has ever had, has decided to remain incredibly quiet? Well, I don't think it's anything to do with illness, but if I have missed any notifications of that, then whoops, sorry, apologies, didn't mean to mislead anyone. Maybe he is just like, maybe he's on vacation. But Peach has been very good about putting out content for new characters when they come out. And it's been almost a week since Chair Reign has come out and no videos. Not just from him, but from other sources as well. There's been no coverage, no lookouts, almost entirely zero videos. And yeah, that's pretty monumental. That's pretty monumental that a character has come out recently that people are not excited about, not interested in. Now, of course, a collaboration has just finished, so it could be that everybody's kind of exhausted from Final Fantasy VII. You know, a lot of people were super interested in Cloud, Zack, and of course our two new gunners, Elena with a pretty damn great trust mastery and just an overall great unit, and then Rufus being kind of particularly just really friggin' annoying with knockback, has put a weird state into, I guess, Chair Reign's launch. So taking a look here, I want to bring up this website, which, you know, I usually bring up Game 8 because it's kind of one of the better resources out there right now for an actual website. Although I would say that the general tier listing here, if you are looking at this website, is slightly outdated at this point. I mean, there is no mention of gunners being in tier 1, and I do think that tier 1 is definitely where a pure, or almost pure gun-based team actually is, with Rufus Shinra in there. And I think that's pretty, you know, decidedly so. You look going in and kind of how things have been moving. Some of the older teams still represent pretty well in tier 3, but into tier 2, Spear, which was not too long ago considered to be one of the best, has moved down to tier 2. I do feel that that's mostly accurate, although I think that pure Spear or even half Spear of Moore plus Gilgamesh plus Karsha has some really good teeth to it. But yeah, AC Cloud and Zack is one of the major problems for Chair Reign, you know, because fire is not something that Greatsword was particularly struggling with, or also ice. Like the requirement of fire to deal with ice. Ice just isn't that scary at the moment by almost any metric. So you look at Zack and you look at AC Cloud, well, they're kind of already pretty good, and Karsha keeps them alive, so that's also really good. And for dealing with gunners, this team essentially will just put in Hero Kingmont if it really wants to deal with a gunner-based party and kind of keep, you know, Zack and AC Cloud alive past the initial Elena and Rufus damage far enough to actually get in and just do the thing that it needs to do. So yeah, I have to say that when we are looking at tier lists, like some old teams have kind of shifted back into the meta. I do agree with this. I do think that the best Greatsword team currently is Zack plus AC Cloud plus someone else, which is crowded out Chair Reign. Geraint also just hasn't really contributed anything to the Great Sword conversation. It's more just like he is you know, you don't have any of the other characters, so you should probably put him in. So that has put into a really interesting spot. So the one video that I actually have, interestingly enough, been able to find was this video right here, which takes a look at kind of just this one team of Rufus, Shinra, Elena, plus Luciel, making a set team that is really, really, really. And here, I mean, we have Cherain here, we have the other two great swords, very heavily focused on that. And if we just kind of scroll ahead a little bit into this fight, you kind of see what is basically happening with this. Yes, a lot of auto revive, a lot of healing, but on a pure flat map like this, not particularly great for the great swords, as you know, the knockback and everything just keeps them too far away. The extra hits is just particularly nasty to deal with, and you kind of end up with that result. Here, looking at a pure fire team plus Cherain, well, we can basically see the same thing kind of happen here. It's gunners doing what gunners do best. Now this other team, which we look at, comprised of Cherain, Hero King Mont, and last but not least, kind of a little bit hard to see there, Zac as well. Interestingly, this team, well, let's kind of take a peek ahead. You can see that Cherain's still technically alive, gets a hit in there. Zac gets a hit in there. Auto revive, still bringing these characters back, giving them haste and everything. Luciel doing what she's doing, and it's a pretty clear and decisive win. So now we put Kar'Sha in with Cherain as well as Zac. And hey, look at this. Look at a little bit of the difference in what's actually happening here. To this point and purpose, Kar'Sha is still, in my opinion, the best character that has come out this entire year. Like, if you look at just lasting power of a character and a character that makes a really big difference in the battlefield, Kar'Sha is actually number one. She would probably be my highest recommended character. Like, if for whatever reason Global did come back and like had all the get all the characters and everything, Kar'Sha would be the highest target. But in this case, you can see that what kind of ended up working is really not that different from the best team that's already agreed upon for Greatsword, AC Cloud. Because AC Cloud, especially with Elena's Trust Mastery, brings so much utility to the actual conversation here. And this is not by any stretch of the imagination, a slouch of a team that we are looking at with Elena, Rufus, and Luciel. This is an incredibly high-end team that definitely belongs, I think, in the tier 1 list for sure, or maybe even, pushing a little bit higher. Yeah, AC Cloud just kind of completely crowded out any usefulness of Cherain being really that good. He doesn't bring really that much to the conversation. Everything that Cherain kind of already brought, being brought by AC Cloud, and the overall improvements to a new character that has come out a year later doesn't seem to be enough. You look at how much people were probably spending on the Rebirth collaboration into this character that's kind of after, even though is still a good to great character, depending on how long it lasts, and the fact that this week his Vision card is an Elemental VC, it's kind of just a little bit bleh, as I put earlier. Do expect Cherain to be, something for people who don't have the full combo. But Kar'Sha and Zac still seem to be an insanely good combination with a third character. And one thing we haven't talked about as well, Doom's updates and Ashamont's updates were pretty nice for free updates, essentially. And as such, yeah, I think that's also maybe gives people more options after resources have just been drained way too much. Also, this guy has 124,000 viewers, so he's doing something right. Anyway, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, the tier list and just why Chairrain has kind of flopped so hard and just the lack of attention to him. It's a little bit sad, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's all. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and see you later.